Hi, welcome to Fine Moon Rising. This is Taurus's July 2025 Tarot and Energy Sigil. Okay, so right now I'm pulling cards that will direct the sigil, and what happens is I find an affirmation that will work for you for July in accordance with this energy of the cards here. And you got the Hierophant, the Devil, and the Five of Cups. So learning will set you free is kind of don't feel trapped in any particular situation, because learning more about any situation will actually set you free. Expand your knowledge base as well and show curiosity. How do you get unstuck after all? How do you get unstuck with anything? You all of a sudden become curious about the situation, curious about outcomes, curious about other things and other people and how they've done it. That type of thing will allow you to move forward. Just become curious. That will immediately get you unstuck. Okay, so the sigil that I have drawn for you will be release the old ways. So this is a time of change for Taurus right now, and I believe that you are preparing for the next chapter of your life. So it's very important. There's an emphasis on decluttering. So decluttering your surroundings, decluttering your mind, most importantly. If there's been some negative thoughts in your head, things that you've been going around, a victim mentality, anything like that, investigate that root cause and see if you can't change that narrative. You know, especially in July, it's going to be very important for you to change that narrative and to go forth through the fall months in a way of like purity of mind, right? And so here we go. Let's move on into the astrology. And so for the sigil, of course, I have taken away all of the consonants that are repeats and then released all the vowels, E, I, O, or U, and sometimes Y, and then left with the consonants that are left over, and then of course that will be my sigil, and that's what I'm drawing right now. And your affirmation is release the old ways, right? Okay, so going into the astrology, Uranus is in Gemini, of course. So it's coming into Gemini. And that, of course, is going to change the way we are communicating all across the board. Also, how we are in community and how we are coming together. I feel like there's, especially for Taurians, there's something here about people coming together in a community sort of way. Maybe you are leading that. Maybe you are just kind of perpetuating a feeling of community instead of a feeling of opposition, a feeling of coming together. And so you might be leading that charge. And so that's why Taurians are extremely important for July. Okay, so also Venus in Taurus, it changes how so drastic changes in relationships can be expected. Now that could be something like a commitment is deepened, or you decide to lessen a commitment, you know. In all relationships, anyone we have connection with, you are downgrading others and upgrading others. And so that's what's happening is as you're kind of just feeding connections that are feeding you and that you feel are going to be with you for the long haul, and then you might be downgrading other connections that maybe are not going to keep up with you in these changes, okay? Because I feel like it's a shift in your life right now, and I think that's why we are decluttering, and that includes some sort of energies as far as people in our life, okay? So let's see. There is oh, you got to speak your truth. That's the thing too. It's as uncomfortable as it might be. You do have to speak out into the universe what you actually want. And that includes in connection. And so there is a spot for you to really, and I'm thinking after like mid-month, you're going to want to start speaking your truth. Now, and that will bring other people together. Once you come out as your authentic self and you kind of voice what you actually want in life, in connection, in career, everything like that, you will find that more opportunities are going to arise and show up in your sphere. And so you'll have more business opportunities, more career opportunities that will allow you to move forward that much more quickly in your life into this next phase, this clutter-free phase. Now, I do feel like there is something here in your surroundings that you need to rearrange, you need to change, you need to make it more efficient, more green, more something like that. And that could be down to your diet as well, just kind of cleaning things up and taking care of yourself. Maybe you need more sleep, maybe you are going to be an early riser, or maybe you're switching your schedule to an evening schedule. I don't know. All right, so let's see. Getting in the... Okay, we need to let go of things that are going to hinder you and things that are getting in the way. So if there's any kind of repetitive, I don't know, habit, vice, whatever, something like that, you're going to be releasing that because you just don't have time. You have no energy. And there's a tarot you can see showing up here that I pulled for you. So you just don't have time for any of those things. And so you're just naturally going to be letting those go. And then as you start speaking your truth, you're going to be directing your life in a new direction. You're going to be allowing the universe to provide you with opportunities to move in the path that you'd like to go. Okay, so as far as your tarot goes, I'm not doing reversals, but we did have the Two of Pentacles jump out in reverse, and I just pull these right before I add them into the video and right before I do the voiceover, so I don't really know what is happening with the tarot until I look at it right now. But the Two of Pentacles did pop out in reverse. You're no longer willing to entertain more than one party, more than one situation. You want to be focused. And so I feel like that could be the changes in your relationship. You are just getting very, very focused on things. And so there is an internal mental change, an emotional change with that. You're releasing something that maybe just doesn't work for you anymore. We do have the Eight of Swords. It was causing you trouble. You know, something in your existence is causing trouble and you're just releasing it. You're like, you know what? I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm done. We do have the Four of Pentacles. The universe wants to provide you with something to linger in that spot. So getting rid of one thing you might be afraid of, oh, there's a big hole. Well, the universe is going to fill that hole with something better. And so, okay. Moving right along, we have the Three of Pentacles in your past, starting to build something new, something fresh, something exciting with people around you. And I feel like it's very community oriented, people around you, people in your sphere. Do have the Nine of Swords here. So we are letting go of things. This is a reading of kind of releasing that big thing that has been in your way and to start something else. We have the Eight of Wands that could help or hinder you. And the Eight of Wands is that energy of, you know, sorry, I'm just going to look at this. It's a snake all around these wands. And I feel like you're trying to hold it all together, but maybe you can't. Maybe you just can't hold it all together. That's why we have to release some things that are just not going to be beneficial to us. And because I think there's going to be an opportunity for you to kind of lead the charge, be a leader, step into some opportunities that are going to provide you with leadership opportunities. Okay, we do have the World in your subconscious. That's that change that's happening. You're moving into a new phase of life, a new time of life. And I think it's very exciting. It can be uncomfortable at times, but I think you're up for the challenge. We do have the Page of Cups in your subconscious. And that is, you know, learning what you want, learning how do you want to go forward. We do have the Magician in your near future. Of course, the Magician is going to allow you to kind of hone in on exactly where you want to go. You're going to be very clear-headed, clear-minded, and know the skills that you have in your repertoire to use in the future. And so opportunities are going to come in accordance with your skill set. Okay, we do have the Two of Wands here, and the Two of Wands is that energy of starting something new and with a spiritual bent. I think you're actually going to be really involved spiritually as well as heart-based into your next phase. You're not going to be wasting time on anything that is just not going to alight your creativity, that is not going to alight and highlight your skill set. You're just done with that. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands. That's been your environment. Kind of difficult people around you, bossy. People might be bossing you and just getting in your way, that type of thing. You might be downgrading those connections or like putting them on the back burner so that you can focus on your path forward. Do have the Ten of Wands. That is, of course, those burdens, right? But it's an end to the burnings because it's 10. It's a 10. It's a 0 and a 1, right? We are tripping the scales. We're moving it over again. You know, we're coming back to 1. We're coming back to 0. So we're zeroing out in order to start fresh. And that's what's happening in your life, is just starting fresh, starting a new phase. And then we also have the Ten of Pentacles that's following, and it is for your safety, security. It is for your happiness. It is for the better path forward. And I think you see that. I think you know what to do. I think in your heart of hearts, you know exactly what to do, where to go, and how to get there. And I think you're seeing very clearly in this reading in July of the direction that you need to go in and what is going to actually ignite that passion, that creativity, and things that you can put your heart into, people you can put your heart into that are going to be beneficial for you in the future type thing. And so you're definitely building. I feel like there's an energy of building, because we have 2 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, also 10 of Pentacles. So this is the next phase is going to be building on your skill set, building on what you already know, creating relationships and connections that build upon those things, because you're going to get into this groove. And I feel like there's this groove that you get into and you're like, you know what? I fit here. This is where I want to go. I completely fit. It's not I resonate with it, because resonating, but it is something that is going to be very good for you in the future, and you're going to get in that happy groove. Okay, if you enjoyed this reading, Taurus, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.